Elizabeth. Thank you for joining us this morning. At 9 a.m., we will close our social media and continue on Zoom only. Join us by getting your Zoom link at elizabethvisionaryconference.org. We will be there until 10 a.m. You can join us now, and we'll see you in the Elizabeth Zoom room. Today, your hosts are Mama Raziya Curtis, Andrea Hetheru, and Deitra Covington. Enjoy. Grand Rising, Queens.
Grand Rising to all.
Grand Rising.
Hum. So what I want to do before I'll turn it over to Deitra, is let me make sure I got it here. All is well with everybody?
Yes.
Glory to God.
Okay. All right, all right, so this is sent by my wonderful, beautiful songstress, Juanita Black Robin Sun Green Elizabeth.
All right.
Woo-hoo, what did I send?
First prayer of November.
Oh, thank you for sharing.
November 1, 2022. Dear God, I come before you today with a grateful heart. We come before you with a grateful heart. Thank you for this beautiful day and for protecting us throughout the month of November. Oh, that was for October. So we're thanking God for what he did in October. Thank you for all the blessings that you've given us, especially for your kindness and grace that enables us to go through each and every day. And we're now ready to face this month. May you fill this day with overflowing joy, love, and answered prayers. This I pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. And Ashe.
I'm ready. I'm ready to take on November. I'm ready and excited about December the 4th, my event. And Juanita's event, which is November
17th.
November
Can
17th.
you give us more information, Juanita, about that?
The event. Go ahead, sis.
No, I said it is in our it's posted in our chat group, right?
Today?
No, I mean
in the chat, in the WhatsApp?
In the WhatsApp,
You know, I'm not sure. I guess I better
well,
make sure.
Yeah, make sure it gets posted. I think because I believe it what Sky has sent out on Facebook, so I know it's out there.
It's on Facebook for sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
great.
make sure you post it in the WhatsApp, in the WhatsApp group. But go right ahead and share.
Just a quick recap overview. So the event includes speakers and vendors and entertainment. The conference itself is free. Anybody can walk in and out and listen in and roam the room and explore the vendors. It's all about sharing the healing power. So all the vendors are bringing healing power products, services, or activities. Mama Evelyn is doing a make and take where those who participate can do a little inspirational banner to take home with them.
Oh, nice.
Oh, we lost her.
Oh, she's totally gone. Oh,
yeah.
Well, she'll be back. I'll be back.
There she is.
Challenges.
We can't hear you, Mama, on you.
Oh, Sorry, it muted when it cut out. I didn't realize it. And Mama Edwana and Baba Ray are gonna do a sound bath experience for an hour. Well, I don't know how long they're gonna actually perform, but at 2 o'clock. At 2 o'clock, they'll do a singing, healing singing bowl performance. And at 3:30, we got Queen Aduni and Philharmonic performing. Actually, 2 sets. They take a break and then do another set. I'm gonna be doing dancer size at 6 p.m. The lunch itself runs from 11 to 2. My oncologist is speaking. She's going to talk about, what would be the best advice for her to give anybody to prevent, manage, overcome cancer. Let me see. Artel, almost said Aletha. Artel is going to speak.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, Anita, who is the one who taught Edwana and Baba Ray about how to use the healing singing bowls. She's gonna speak and she's gonna do our prayer. I have Roussel Cole. She is the sister to Dula Todd. I don't know if any of you all know Dula Todd. She's a background singer with TFO Orchestra. And so her sister Roussel is an awesome soloist. She's gonna sing the opening song. We're going to have a Cancestor Memorial Tribute that's gonna include libations along with just calling out the names of our Cancestors, because I just could not find it within myself to do an event like this without acknowledging our Cancestors, those who have, for whom cancer has been their ticket off the earth. I just had to do some type of something to honor them and acknowledge them, and to acknowledge the fact that not everybody lives through it. They want to pretend like we're all going to be healed from this. It may be our ticket out. So yeah, I think that kind of encompasses just about everything. Oh, Sue Shields. If you've ever been to Harbor House,
Yes.
this is Lady Sue Shields, who does spoken word, and she's really awesome. And she's gonna do a special poem. She won't even let me hear the poem. Oh, we're gonna have also testimonials, and Star will be one of the ones sharing her testimonial. So it's gonna be full. I really have no idea how many people are gonna be there. Yesterday was supposed to be the last day to register for everything. However, I am extending the registration through November 8th, since we're having a restaurant, Leo's Coney Island in Dearborn, is doing us a fundraiser on election night.
Oh, nice.
So,
Nice.
yeah, they're going to write a check for 15% of their proceeds from that night. So I'll be sending a reminder out to everybody, and a notice that the date to register has been extended to
Well, how
November
do we
8th.
RSVP, or what do we do?
I'll put a link for the entire event in our chat today.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yep. So you'll be able to see your choices. You can advertise, be a vendor. You can buy your own lunch. If you're a cancer patient or survivor, your lunch is 30 instead of 50. If you're a vendor, you had an option to get your lunch for 30 with the donation of a giveaway, a healing power prize.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah. So you get a free vendor space. You can get your lunch for the $30 if you donated a healing power prize valued at $25 or more.
Oh, we.
So I will post that. Yeah, it's rich, and it's like, ooh, girl, that's a lot. Cause like, ooh, being the whole team, I know God's got me. So
That's right. That's
yeah,
right.
God's got us, right? God's got us.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing, because what he told me when I became a Zumba Gold instructor, I felt so inadequate. I think I shared this with you guys. Being a big girl, old girl, you don't teach Zumba, girl. Can you shake it up like that? Honey, God told me, enjoy and help us
Yeah.
save my people. So that's what we're doing. We're part of that, us, all of us, what we're doing, you know, and I'm so grateful.
That's right. That's
that-
right.
Yeah, that all of us see the value of what we're doing, like you were saying, Queen Adoni, you know, to know that we are important to God and that our work is important to Him for us to help save our people, us.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's the root of it right there.
Well, thank you
So,
for sharing this. This is
thank you.
good.
Thank you for allowing me, and I'll put that link in the chat now.
Ashe.
Ashe.
All right. Well, Grand Rising, Mother Raziya.
Mama Raziya.
Grand
You're
Rising,
muted.
Mama Raziya.
You're muted.
Unmute yourself, babe. She's probably,
There you go.
Grand,
you got that finger trying to find it.
right. Grand Rising, all of you lovely
Grand Rising.
queens. It's good to see you.
Good to see you. Good to be together.
It's like it's good to be seen.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Well, you know what? I'm just going to say joy and anticipation is my word for the month.
Oh, I like that.
And I have one more. Joy, anticipation, and being unstoppable.
Oh, yes.
Ooh.
Okay,
Yes.
Unstoppable.
that's a lot of power in that.
Yeah,
rich.
being
That's rich.
unstoppable. And I want to be a magnet that draws and compels what I say out of my mouth concerning all of my endeavors, specifically for the upcoming event. And I speak this for Juanita as well, that people will be compelled by what we say to come and experience it.
Thank you.
Be
Thank you.
compelled, just like, oh God, I gotta be there. And
Right.
they and for the silver and gold, that's the name of my event. Silver and gold, they can be online, they can be at home. For those who can't come out, we will be broadcasting it.
Oh,
Why?
that's nice. Good.
Why? Because we can. Because it's free. It's the internet. It's
Right, right.
so
And you know
yeah,
how to do it. You know how to do it. That part.
that too. Mama Raziya, go ahead. I step right on into your share.
Well, I am barely here today.
Barely looks good though.
I'm still in that waking up mode.
Yeah, right.
Yes. A lot of things are going on, and we get a lot of calls from across the country of what's happening to people. And sometimes it's a bit overwhelming
Yeah.
because all these calls have energy.
Yes.
So in the evening, I finally say, well, let me go into this rejuvenation mode as best I can so that the next day you're ready
Yeah.
for some more. You're here for. But we're grateful to be having this experience of sharing and caring. And I'm amazed at the number of just extremely intelligent and effective, involved people that we meet. Jacqueline, when I heard her last week, I was just so amazed at the depth
Yeah.
of her presentation. And wow, there's so much involved in financial health, so much involved in being really on point with that part of our lives.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
3, 5 major points, and she's coming up with pretty, I mean, just really a lot that we have not thought about. And I really appreciate this series. So we are excited to
Yes.
have Miss Jacqueline Jones coming back for the second installment. We're
All
ready
right.
to receive. Thank you.
No, thank you. Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Queen, did you want me to read one of our cards for today?
You can go on. I'm in listening mode at this point.
Okay, all right. Well,
Yours-
once again, I'm gonna read one of our African goddess oracle, no, African goddess rising oracle cards. And once again, this was started by one of our former teammates. Well, I don't know if I say former teammate, but Mama Hetheru. But I really enjoyed when she would read them. So I actually went and bought my own so I can have them to read
Okay.
each day. So today's card says, I don't know if you guys can see that, but Sarah
Yeah.
Lakali. And they're actually beautifully designed. I like them. But what this one says is, this is a goddess of divine lineage, Romani in Egypt. She comes, the temple she represents is the ancestors' temple. Her element is water. So very fluid. So that's a wonderful, I like the thought of being a water sign, even though am I a water sign? September? Is okay, I don't know if we have any
Astrologist in here.
astrologers, yes, right. But anyway, Sarah Lakali, great ancestress, Sarah Lakali means Sarah the Black, was an Egyptian prophetess and the patron saint of the Romani people. Oral history says that Sante Sarah had the highest divine lineage. What is her guidance for us? Your ancestors protect the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail is you. Divine ones walk beside and within you. Trust. Oh, that's so beautiful just to know that I am the Holy Grail. We think it's well, no, I need to speak for myself. When I think of the Holy Grail, I think of some being stored somewhere.
Right. That's right.
No, but then to think that I am the Holy Grail, it's like, wow, okay. And to have, just to feel that in me, I'm like, I gotta make sure that I am upright and upstanding young individual, as I go through this world. If I'm the Holy Grail, I need to really represent that. And then under embodiment, it says, your ancestors want to remind you that you are not alone. They are rooting for you. Isn't that wonderful? Thank you,
Yes.
ancestors.
Yeah.
They ask you to honor your spirit guides and call upon the power of the divine. Wonderful. Create or nourish your ancestral altar or shrine. Unbury your ancestors. Speak their names. Your divine lineage ancestors may be blood related or culturally or spiritually connected. And then the goddess declaration is, I am my sister. Oh, and my sister is me. I love that. It speaks to what the Queen said. We're all connected. There's nothing separate here. So that ends my goddess card reading. Are there anything anyone wants to share?
Well,
Okay.
I say today just to thank you for that reinforcement. Uh-oh, get it on
Yes,
camera,
thank
girl.
you.
Yeah, thank you for that reinforcement. We are one. We are
We are
one.
one. Yes,
Yeah.
I wish I could play
Yes.
that song, We Are One. That would be so ideal.
The Frankie Beverly.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause you know,
I'm hearing
it
it.
went to everybody's mind. We are one.
Exactly, right.
No
Yes.
matter what we do, we are one.
We are one.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. That's cool.
I was
And
in
it is.
study group and we would start with the song, We Are One in the Spirit.
Yes,
We are
yes.
one in the law.
We are
We are one
one.
in the Spirit. And, you know, it's just a reminder that we're all one. And
Yes.
what we do is not just, it helped me to be more thoughtful about what I do, what I say, because it's affecting more than me,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know?
Yeah, yeah.
So true. Just like waves in the water.
As you
Yeah.
say that, Mama Razia is, when you say that we affect more than we know, actually, because
Yes.
you could say something to me one way or the other, something that empowers me or something that breaks me down. Well, guess who's going to experience next? Whoever walks in that room, whoever walks in my space.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right.
If I'm pissed off, then that's what's going to show up. If I'm loving, oh, she left me in such a wonderful feeling, a great space. I was just talking to Razia and so how you doing, girl?
Right.
Or it could be,
Yes.
you know, oh, she pissed me off. Yeah, what's up? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I just came down because the baby's crying. Well, hurry up and shut him up. You know, now the baby is going to experience what I
Right.
did for her. You know, that ripple effect is something else.
That's
It
where it
is.
goes. That's right.
Right.
I was at we were honored on Saturday at the Charles H. Wright Museum.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Ruhi Marshall completed her book, A Generation Found, The Journey Continues.
Yes.
There were at least I think she had a 50 to 100 elders. These are people 70 and over.
Yeah.
And the oldest person there was 110.
Ooh-wee.
Wow.
Yes, and she was present. She was sitting in a wheelchair comfortably, but her spirit was so strong. You felt that she was just doing that wheelchair bit for the rest of us.
Right. Oh, that's wonderful.
Feisty, and she spoke very well. But I was so lifted by the spirit in that room.
Yeah.
And sharing and the caring and all of the accomplishments that had been made. And just the feeling, people said, wow, I feel so much better. You know, my leg isn't even hurting.
I love it. I love it. Mm.
So the energy was being transferred among, yeah. And of course, with Charles H. Wright, just stepping in the door, such a beautiful
It's
place.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And the spirits of our ancestors are all over.
Yeah.
So that was a good experience. I'll share more with you guys.
Looking forward to that.
Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome.
And I'm in the book.
Let me see. You have it?
Huh?
Oh, I
You had
thought
a
you
book?
about to show it.
Yeah, that's the
Oh, nice.
Oh, is she the one who wrote it?
yeah, that's Cleety. She's in the book also. So she's a photographer and a writer, historian. So she chose that picture as the essence of the spirit of the elders.
Yeah,
And
it is so
what
perfect.
they asked us to do, they said, you know, when you're out, you know, shopping, or if you are standing at the bus stop, or whatever you're doing, if you find yourself sitting next to an elder or right in the presence of an elder, stop and talk with them.
Yes.
And get the words that they might share with you.
Oh.
And don't forget that, because they have pearls of wisdom.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Wow.
Yeah, that, that is so profound what you just shared, because so many of our elders are not respected.
That's
They
right.
are just tossed in their home, in their own home. They don't, oh, shut up, Sometimes you even see that on Facebook and TikTok and stuff where there's, just how they're dealing with the elders and yeah, but that would be probably profound to some when you just, acknowledge their wisdom and, no, that just what you said, that when you said that, it just made me think about so many of our elders that people don't pay any attention or think
Right.
they're stupid and,
Or they don't have nothing to offer,
don't have anything to offer, or they're just a burden,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so wonderful to see how Lily B and Ayana take care of their mother's mother.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
to know that relationship was intact when mom left, that relationship was intact.
That's
And
right.
I know when my mom was here, I remember Fame didn't want to go to, we was all going to go do a photo shoot, and Fame was dealing with his children and the baby mama drama stuff, and Fame was like, I'm not gonna do it. And matter of fact, Doris had to do the same thing, my sister with her son. And we just emphatically just said, oh no, not my mama, not your granny. You're gonna know this will be a wonderful day for her. Period.
Yeah.
Period. So you just get yourself together and you get your kids together, and then we're going to go and we're going to happily go and take these pictures.
Yes.
Wow. Yes. Yes.
That's it. You will not mess up my mama's day, and just to see, and I want to acknowledge you, Lily and Ayana, and how you take care of your grandma.
Yes.
That's precious. And that's what does the
Thank
Bible say about your mother's, you obey your parents for, what is that scripture, from generation to
Oh,
generation?
yeah, that's right.
All that stuff, and by the same token, if you mistreat them, that curse will be on you for a minute, and you'll find, why are my children doing to me like this? Well, do you remember when you were 17? You remember you were 27? So yeah.
I appreciate you so much. Thank you. I mean, I'm up here smiling like I don't know what to say. I'm learning how to say thank you, because sometimes I feel like this is just what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
But yes, I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for seeing it. It's not an easy task,
No.
but it's being done.
Yeah.
Amen. That's great.
Yeah.
Yes, I appreciate you.
You got it, baby.
Okay.
Right.
It looks like we might be able to turn it over now.
I think we're ready to turn it over to the brilliance of Jacqueline Jones.
I got
it's
my pen and paper.
Let's get ourselves together and get something to write with.
All right. It's yours, baby.
I still have the screen. Yeah. Okay. So you can see this?
Yes.
Happy Tuesday morning, ladies. You all just don't know what this is a blessing to me. Your discussions these weeks that I've been able to listen in, it's really touching me. So, and again, I appreciate my Raziya asking me to do this, because it's been a blessing and a lift up for me, just personally, going through this for your behalf, but it's also for my behalf. So today we're starting week 2, and this discussion today is minimize taxes as part of financial health towards understanding that to gain a sense of management over our finances, it helps to reduce the stress in our life. It doesn't stop it, but as far as your finances, we know that financial issues can cause more stress for us, but when I feel in sharing what I am through this series, it will help you to learn that, at least in that area, to minimize the stress that it's caused or is causing or can cause or eliminate for you in your life. So today, it will be minimizing taxes. I want to begin by saying Grand Rising again. Blessings to you all and bliss to you all for favor and protection and in growing toward your perfect happiness and great joy that it is for you to have.
Ashe, likewise.
Thank you. To kind of review what we had talked about last week with baselining your finances, I wanted to at least go through these steps again. The first step I shared was identifying what motivates you to the point of wanting to learn to use and maintain financial skills. I know for me, I was not taught about money. I just, when we're kids, either our parents teach us a certain thing or they do it and never explain to us. Maybe they think we're supposed to learn it in school or whatever, but my take on it actually is we as parents should be teaching it to our kids. And even now, if we can look back and see that we didn't teach it to our kids, is it too late for us still to model that for our kids if they're not financially literate to the degree of being effective in managing their money as opposed to allowing their money to manage them? So if it's something for us to learn, maybe it's something for us still to model for our kids and our grandkids and nieces, nephews, just everybody. So that first step is identifying what can motivate you at this point in your life to want to make that change, to becoming more financially aware and balanced. The second step that I presented was to keep it simple, using a keep it simple system. And that is starting with tracking and logging your finances, whether it's using a computer-based system, which I suggest, or writing it down, but it's to do something, to start identifying where you are now. I know last week I think my Raziya had mentioned, if someone was in a position where they knew their financial situation was dire and they had a kind of fear or concern about even looking at it, that it could be as bad as they thought it was. And then another lady, I can't remember her name, she mentioned that when she did it for herself, even though she thought it was bad, when she actually wrote it down and saw it, she saw it wasn't as bad as she thought it was. So that's the whole thing of having a simple process where you can at least start with the idea that I need to see where I am, I need to accept where I am, and based on that, then I can take practical steps toward making a change and improving going forward. And I put here and highlighted in red, which wasn't in last week's, but identifying a goal at some point, because I think by having a goal or a plan, something to work toward, helps motivate going forward, helps one to see a vision of, at the end of 2 months or 3 months, I want to see if I can get to this point, or it's just something as a goal to work toward. And then on the third step, I suggest to take a month to 2 months of just tracking, to not make any changes in the way that you spend your money, the way that you use your money, but to track it, to have a picture of it over a 1 to 2 month period. And then at the end of whatever you choose, if it's 1 month or 2 months, then after you've tracked those things, then go back and look and say, okay, this is how I've been spending my money. And I think I share on my case, not only eating out where I was spending $300-400 a month eating out. I also saw how I was spending money on cable TV, some of the entertainment things that when I looked at it, it's like I can visually see that was too much for me. So then I made the decision, I reduced my cable bill down because I didn't need to pay that much for cable. I stopped eating out so much. So I was able to make those decisions going forward, and then taking that money and applying it to a savings, applying it to paying bills off. And that was like an accomplishment, something that I can actually do and see a benefit for me going forward to reaching the goals that I had set at that time.
Jacqueline?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I wanted to share that some years back, and I did that program to get rid of all the bills and things like that. And like you said, to set the goals and plan for it. And I did just that, once I saw what I owe, then I saw all the debt. And as I got rid of one, I would still, because I was used to paying it, I would take that money. Like if I paid $30 somewhere, when I got rid of that, then I would take that same 30, because I'm used to paying it, and put it on the next bill that I was going to get rid of. And then when that together, the 30 and the $50 one, I have $80, then I was able to pay and then when you get through that big chunk, from getting rid of all these, I was able to knock that down easy. That's what I was saying. I was the one that was saying when I really looked at it, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was, especially when I had a plan to do it. And I stuck with that plan, and I was able to get out. That was the bills from the shop and from my house. So yeah, just that focus it helped me. Yeah.
And that's awesome. And that's the thing, is to have a plan. If we don't have a plan, I know there's a scripture to this, is well, there's a scripture and there's a saying, a man that don't have a plan, he'll kind of fall or do anything. But when you have a plan, it allows you to have a focus to, make decisions about things that come up at the last minute.
Yeah.
You didn't, we never expected, but when they come up, we'll know. And on the side of money too, there are times that opportunities come up, and it kind of hurts sometimes to hear from people saying, something $50 that could have benefited them to get involved with it, but then they're saying, I don't have $50. But yet they have a full-time job, or they have a active business. So if you don't have $50, how are you managing your money? So, but that's good that you saw that. And that's what I want to share, and my desire in presenting to anyone that listens to this today or in the future listening to the recording. You've got to start somewhere. Even, whether you're writing it down, whether you're using a system, however, but you need to start somewhere to make that difference to changing and improving your financial situation. And then, so thank you, Queen. But that's where with tracking, you can then, after you track for a month or 2 months, then you can actually see to establish a realistic budget based on your situation and how you're spending your money. And as I shared before, it's about tracking everything, not just your checking, savings, tracking your credit cards, but the cash that you're spending, something that you are aware with every cent. of where money's, how you're spending money and what money is coming in too.
Mm.
And then going forward, after you've reached that point of making a budget, then commit to it. You know, I have presented the 369 with the 9 meaning give yourself deliberate time of 9 months to whatever you start doing. Give yourself that amount of time to really let it sink into your, make it a new habit for you, to really let it sink into your brain and your processes to make it a new habit.
Mhm.
And I presented information that was on a study that it's from 12 days to 200 and something days that a new habit needs to actually settle in and make it a part of your life going forward. So this is just a review of those points. Now, today going forward is to talk about minimizing taxes. And I'm going to kind of focus on utilizing the IRS guidelines and rules because taxes, you know, well, taxes is a reality of our society. And there's an aspect of, like, if you've got a full-time job, a W-2 job where you're working for an employer, you're paying taxes, state, federal, then you've got Social Security. I mean, they're gonna get theirs. And then even as a private citizen that has their own business, you have to pay taxes. And now if you are collecting money and you don't claim it, you know, they've got laws they'll come after you. And to learn and have knowledge about these things helps support reducing the stress in your life to me. Do you ladies agree with that statement or what do you think?
Absolutely.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so where I want to begin, these are on my last, I gave you steps. This segment is about information. And I want to just share that you need to know that the information I'm going to provide here is to help inform you of the facts of that there are legal ways to minimize the taxes that you pay. And that's all I'm here for this, through this talk, is information. And part of that is that if you don't have the information, that means when you don't know,
You can't grow.
when you don't know, you don't, or you can't grow to be better, to make better decisions. So information is, I'm going to say information is key.
Mhm.
No? And, you know, sometimes when we don't know, it's just like as we're talking, sometimes we've shared something and somebody said, you know what, I hadn't thought about that. Well, okay, we'll make it now. This is something that's been presented to you, so find out about it, you know? So when you don't know, you don't or you can't grow. So I want us all, again, for us here today and for those who may listen to this later, to grow in knowledge of this system that we're under relative to taxes. And I'm going to remind to say, KISS, to keep, you know, for whatever processes you use, keep it simple. And here, identify your need for information, be it for you personally, for your business, or for you both, or for both. But even if we have a business, I've shared that you need to ensure that you keep them separated, that, you know, your personal side sometimes support your business side, yet you still need to keep it separate and learn why that's important. On the personal side, this first part of information I want to share, I was reading that the senior tax specialist stated that they often get questioned about if it's possible to reduce someone's taxable income to where they have a zero tax bill. And this person stated that through careful tax planning, that means knowledge, you got to plan for it. You can significantly reduce your tax burden to almost nothing, even when you have high income. And they answered on how someone could do that. You can do it by having, here you go, dedicated teams of advisors to help you find efficient tax instruments and plans for investing. But what does that take? On the personal side, they're saying, and this is through research that I've done over the years, the way you can reduce your personal income is by contributing to retirement savings plans. I believe most of the ladies here today, you all have your businesses. I don't believe you all are working. You don't have you're not a W-2 worker. So on the business side, you can reduce your taxable income by getting involved with retirement savings plans. It's not for me to say what those are, but just to let you know they are out there. You can look into your banks, your credit unions. You can even go online to research what retirement saving plans are out there. And honestly, it doesn't take a lot. Even if you can start with $5, $10. Say every time you make money, it's talking about paying yourself first. You know, put $5, $10, $15 away every time you bring income in, and that'll go toward your day that you tell yourself, I'm tired of working. I don't want to wake up at 10 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the morning to do XYZ, but I want to now kind of rest on money coming in to me because I've saved toward that goal. And this will allow you to get there. If you are an employee, here saying invest in an employee savings account, pay attention to tax credits. And then also, if you are doing investments here, they're saying if you had a loss, that also, not that anyone wants a loss, but it also allows you to reduce your taxable liability in the end. And again, this is all just information. And what applies to you, you know what applies to you and what will benefit your situation. But if you don't know, you can't grow. I wanted to present here, it says, how much does Americans pay in taxes? And here it had presented that last year, 2021, the IRS collected $4.1 trillion in taxes. But then of the 260 million tax returns that they received, they gave out 1.1 trillion in refunds. So again, information. So people are paying their taxes, but they're getting money back as well. And then here I thought it was interesting where it just said the IRS has historically collected more taxes from people in California, New York, and Texas, but they also received the largest refunds. Off of this information, I was curious about how many people are there actually in the United States. And I found that as of October 30th, yesterday, they said that we have 335,506,903 people in the United States. And they've collected 261 million returns. It's information. So people are paying, and for people,
can you say that number again of how many people are in the US?
How many people? 335,506,903 as of October 30th, 2022.
Is that just people paying taxes?
No, this was, I wanted, the ones I'm paying taxes is what I presented here, and this is from 2022, that 261 million people submitted tax returns.
Okay.
Okay. But actually, even with this information, I found, which I didn't put up, only of those that submitted tax returns, only 42% of them actually had to pay anything. So there are people that are submitting tax returns and ultimately they either break even, get money back, or don't have to pay. So 42% of them have to pay something, but then 57% did not have to pay anything, but they were still filing.
Yeah, Jacqueline, we'll talk about more about this on Friday, but I don't know how many of you know that the IRS they are illegal. And they are shutting down the IRS. They can't just announce it. And some people are still paying. And there's when we talk about what's going on in the world as far as money is concerned, finances and other things. But it all leads to money. The greed leads to money that people are misusing stuff and then have put us in. I mean, we're born into it. So we're born into that. The IRS is law. What is that joke about that? There are two things that you can't avoid. One is death and one is the IRS.
Taxes. I'm gonna look into that. I didn't hear that IRS is illegal.
Yeah, but that's a whole thing around the global reset of the world. And that about the United States, the corporation it's a corporation, and just the difference between our government, what is real and what was created by those the 1%, and why we are in the position that we are in, and as well why what's happening, which is a global currency reset, why it is happening now. It's like when the household finds out that we've been doing something wrong, and what's the name that we've been calling our uncle that could whoop us, our uncle that would molest and all that stuff. And because he was uncle, we just submitted to that person.
Mm-hmm.
And then you find out later on, because this has happened in my family, she finds out later on she was not his biological child. And that's why that was being done to her versus the others, because that really wasn't his child. He knew that, but she did not. So she was operating on the premise of that I'm the child, blah, 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 blah. So it's the same with the IRS. The IRS is being dismounted as we speak. And so we're going to talk about that Friday, but they won't tell you now. They're not going to tell you now. And they're not going to just make a blanket announcement, because everybody would just stop. Just stop. And then, how would things still be taken care of? Because the taxes does something for for the world and stuff.
Right.
But what they have caused with people is terrible. The IRS, that collection thing is terrible, and they don't care. And I'm not going to say the individuals, the officers and stuff, but I'm saying the IRS, the way it is created, it is to keep us paying to take care of those who, like you said, that they know the ins and outs. They know what they can legally do and get away with not paying taxes. But that's on a whole nother level that we're not privy to. You got to be on that level of money that, you know, the billionaires, the trillionaires and stuff, because that's information that we couldn't handle anyway on this level. Like, you know, so
Well, I'll say yes on when you're looking at the billions and such.
yeah.
Yet for where we are and given until what you're saying, I'm going to look into it because I was not aware of that. But where we are now, it is a reality that we are required to pay taxes.
Mhm.
But even in that, here, let me continue through what I was going to share
Yeah.
to at least still know, because in knowing, then we can make better decisions and understand, you know, of what is for us at this moment.
Mhm. Right. Amen.
Billionaires have these tax here. Like I said, I'm good. Let me go through because I almost feel like saying from what you just told me, it's like, shoot, why should I even talk about this now?
Because we're in it. We're still in it.
Because we're in it for now.
I'm just saying the help is coming.
Yeah. You know, they go, when you don't know, you don't know. So
exactly.
okay. So I'm going to continue through, and actually some of what you said are some points that I'm going to make throughout in here, but with my focus on going with information for now, I put this up: when someone, maybe you, receives a tax refund, what are your thoughts about this? And is it a good thing or not, and why? So would someone like to share, what do you think as when you get a tax refund?
Hallelujah.
Well, is Queen, are you sharing?
No, I'll just say that's what you say. Is it
Like,
good?
hallelujah.
Why? It's a hallelujah when you get some money back.
Well, I'll just share that I have done a lot of listening to the issue of taxes and why taxes and who's the IRS and that. And so when I got tax refunds, usually it was a bittersweet feeling. You know, I said, well, you know, they really owe me a lot more than this. I'm grateful, but they could have done better. And so it is a good thing. But
Okay.
there was a feeling that either I did not do all of what I needed to do to have these deductions or whatever, but there was just something that didn't feel right
Okay.
in that whole process.
Okay.
So yeah, I received the check. I spent the money, or you know, put it to good use, but it just wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to say that when I was younger, you know, yay, you know, you got money, you could do extra things with it. Um, but at that time you still weren't, didn't know anything about saving or investing. And when I think of all the money my family went through, just, you know, it boggles the mind. But now that I see what it is, they're just holding on to some money and giving it back to you at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
I have a friend who I don't know how she does. Well, I know she's always had a home-based business, and she would always claim that, but somehow she would hold on to more of her income throughout the year, you know, and well, when she was married, and then, you know, they would get some money back, but she would hold on to most of her income in her checks when she was working for someone throughout the year by claiming more dependents than she had, you know, but it wasn't a lie because she just wanted, you know, it would just, I don't know how it figured out at the end, but she it's not, I don't know how she did that, but she just had more of her money, in her weekly or bi-weekly check than, and she, just giving it to them to hold on, and you don't get interest on it or nothing, and then they just give it back to you. And it's just, you get a lump sum of your money back.
Very good
So,
point, and we're going to talk about that. But what you just shared about she did more, that can get people in trouble too. Until if what Queen Aduni shared, that they're going to dismantle that system, it's still, people go to jail for tax, what they would call tax evasion or whatever. So, if people are doing that and they haven't gotten caught, but I recently heard, or I actually was doing my research, that people were caught for were called on the carpet for doing that, and either had to pay a big fine after the fact or whatever. But right or wrong, there are ways to do it, but you should do it within the guidelines of really knowing that I'm not putting myself at risk with it.
well, like I said, she did it for a long time. I mean, she knows the ins and outs. She does
Yeah,
her
yeah.
research. She never. I mean, it was never a problem. She just, did what in the way she knew she could to have more of her money in her check, because she
Well,
needed it for day to day than, big lump sum at the beginning of the year.
right. Well, as I said, thank you for that point, because that is a reality of when you know what you can do, that's great. You need to do that. But don't ever do anything that could put yourself at risk by claiming something that's not, you can't back up if you call on it, that's all I'm saying. So if she did it and everything was cool, then that's good. But, sometimes people press that into too long and then they do get caught, is all I'm saying. So I'm glad it sounds like she fared well with that. So thank you, ladies, for those points. So I do want to say that when you're receiving a tax refund, and just as you said, it is like you're giving the government an interest-free loan for the year that they're giving you back at the beginning of the year. And my take is learn, given your circumstances, learn what you can do to reduce that outflow. And like you said, usually it's with someone that has a W-2 job, that they're taking taxes out regularly. And you can learn if you have a home-based business. Now, if you don't have a business, you really have to stay in line. But if you have a home-based business along with working, there's some leeway that you can do with that. So, and one way to learn and know is there's a IRS withholding estimator that allows you to go in and calculate that, I must use the term sweet spot of how much, what's the amount that can be taken out of your W-2 check each month that will allow you to keep more money, but still meet whatever tax liability you may have, without at the end of the year either having to pay them more or them giving you money back. So there's this point, and that tax estimator will allow you to do that. And this is the site. You can type in tax withholding estimator, or here's the link for that site. But going through this, it asks you questions. It does not, I have some points after this. It does not ask any personal information from you, but you're just giving it general information about your situation. And again, this is mostly for someone that has a job, that has a 9-to-5 where they're taking out. And then I'll touch why there's a difference later, but in using this, and I'll use myself for example, when I learned about this system is through the program that I'm using that I've shared with you all. Again, whether you use the program that I'm using and I present or any other, all of this relative to the tax part is still for your benefit and for your information. For myself, when I learned about this 6 years ago, I was claiming two, myself and my daughter. And my taxes at the time with the salary that I was making in my job, I was paying about $600 every pay period, every 2 weeks, so like $1,200 a month about going to federal, and this is just federal taxes. It wasn't state or anything, but that was just federal taxes. And I mean, okay, they did it because that's what I was used to doing. I didn't know any different, any better. So I was presented with this information and I went in and I followed the steps. And when I finished, it told me I can claim 6 exemptions and not just 2. And how they came up with that, I put in information they asked. I also at the time though, I knew I had my home business, and that was one of the caveats of adding to the calculation. Because technically I had 2 jobs now instead of just 1. But with the calculations, it looked at my standard deductions. It looked at, I was claiming my business home. So it took that calculation from the prior year, and through their calculations, it came back and told me to claim 6 exemptions. I was like, oh, and I mean, this was the IRS system telling me this, following their steps. So because I was like questioning it, I changed my 2. I didn't do 6, I did 5. So when I did, and that next pay period after I submitted it, instead of taking $600 out, they took $300 for federal. I was like, oh. So with that $300 I now had, like you said, with your friend, I used that money to initial my first goal was getting out of debt. So it took me like about 6 months that I used that. And with that 6 months of extra $300 a pay period, now that's like $600 a month that I put to pay my debt off. When I paid my debt off after those 6 months, it's like now I have this money, just like Queen Aduni shared about taking the money and, you know, the 30 and putting it with the 50 and paying. I followed this system, you know, the system I was following was very similar to that, paid this stuff off. And then I had this extra money at the end of the month now, after these 6 months. That's like, oh, I'm gonna put this toward my retirement. And when tax-wise, when I put that money now toward my retirement, because I was in a 401 plan that allowed you to put money pre-tax, it lowered my taxable liability. You know, it lowered the amount that they can tax on, because now it's putting that money away in a savings account. It lowered my taxable income. So then I paid less taxes again because I was putting more money away for later. So it was like this snowball effect. It's like, man, I wish I would have known. I was telling myself, I wish I'd known this 10 years ago. But, you know, we don't know what we don't know. But when we know, we make a change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, so for somebody now, maybe you all on this, on the Zoom right now, you all have your businesses, there's other ways, but if you know friends, families, your family members that, you know, have full-time jobs, make them aware of this information, you know, because now if you don't have a business it could still make someone knowledgeable, because I have friends that they didn't care about having a home business or any business on the side, but they had 0 exemptions. And then they were expecting to get this, which they did. Some of them got these big paycheck, these big checks at the end of the year from IRS. Oh, I got this money. It's like, well, what if you could have had that money throughout the year, and you could have been investing it, you could have been paying bills off, you could have been putting it away in something to save for a trip. I mean, any goal that they could have used that money for, as opposed to letting the government keep it for a year and then give it back to you. And then some of them I even have some friends call it forced savings. Give me my money and I'll save it the way I want to save it. So using this tax estimator is, as I said, you can't use this tool if you don't have a job, if you're non-resident, or if you have a complex tax situation. Again, this is where we are now. Maybe once we learn if the IRS actually is going to be dismantled, then it won't be an issue. And then we have to figure out something else. But, taxes do pay for services. If we're not paying taxes, then, police, keeping the streets clean. I mean, all kind of things that taxes go towards. So I don't know. But, and then I put, why check your withholdings? It can protect against having too little tax withheld, where some people do get bills for, you owe us $10,000 because you didn't pay the correct amount of taxes, or you owe us $2,000 or whatever. And then, excuse me. But it can also allow you to adjust it so that you can have a bigger paycheck each month and pay smaller. Because for me that year, the year before I had paid, I think, before I had done this system for myself, I had to pay taxes. But then with this, I kind of broke even to where I think I only paid like less than $100. So, it works for me. But again, if we don't know, we can't grow and improve our situations. And then the security of it, the estimator doesn't ask for personal information, social security numbers or anything, bank accounts, but it is just for your information so you can make better decisions about, especially with the employee or W-2 worker, better decisions about their, still their finances and the taxes related to that. And then after someone would use the estimator, then they can go in and make those adjustments. Like for myself, I changed mine from 2 to 5. Maybe if I would have changed it to 6, I wouldn't have had to pay the $70 or whatever it was. But through your employer, it just says you can go to the employer and make that adjustment to your withholding certificate after using the estimator. Now looking at on the side of having a business, and this is where from that discussion before about billionaires, yes, we've heard the statements about all these big companies that pay less than their secretaries in taxes. Now, that's not to say they don't pay taxes, but that they just have found ways to minimize because they have accountants that know the laws and requirements, But for us, there's information out there, just like what I'm sharing with you now. For information, when you have the information, you can use and make decisions about different things. When I did a search about paying taxes, these are all line items that came up, that questions have come up with people. People are searching, how can I reduce the taxes that I pay for my business? Some people, that's their source of income for their personal life and their business life, you know, and they want to learn too. So even without having tax accountants and things, you can still find out and know about the basics of what you can do. These are different ways small business owners can reduce their tax liability. They can pay when they get health insurance, that's a deduction. When they submit to having a retirement account for themselves and if they have employees, that's a reduction. Claim the qualified business income, depreciation of your equipment and such, using a car for business purposes, home office deduction, when you financing your business, startup costs for your business, and meal and travel expenses. All of these can reduce your tax liability as a business, not for personal, but if you have a business. That's why for me, I really encourage people, even if it's something simple and something that you like doing, turn it into a business. And then you will reap the benefit of reducing your tax liability through taking advantage and taking credit for tracking these things for yourself.
Okay.
And so, I mean, the bottom line with business, you need to learn to know how to keep accurate and thorough records. And through our discussion last period, writing it down on a piece of paper, yeah, that's fine. But if you have a business and you want to benefit from it, you have to have good records. And does that include having a log where you just write stuff down? Now, if you have to refer back to it quickly, how would you be able to do that? If you have to give it to a tax accountant or your bookkeeper or whomever to do that for you, are they really, to me still, are they really doing it? But when you use a system that will allow you to review, total, do all of these things simply, easily, quickly, it benefits you. It helps you. With the home office deduction that is allowed in the tax system right now, there's a simplified option and then there's a regular method. The simplified option is, let's say you have a home office and your home office equal to, well, I know I do my own taxes, so it'll ask, the software ask, what's your home size? I'll say 1,000 square feet. I'm just using that as an example. It's 1,000 square feet is my home. My office space in that home, that's 1,000 square feet, is 200 square feet. So with the simplified option, they would say, okay, that 200 square feet of your office, we'll give you $5 per square feet as a simplified option. $5 by 200, I mean, yeah, times 200 is $100. That's your deduction, $100 for your home office. But the regular method, it takes that same dimension, that's 20%. So your home office is 20% of your big home. But then you can deduct all of these things. If you have mortgage, interest, rent, taxes, maintenance and repairs, insurance, utilities, and other expenses, again, you needed to have tracked what those were. Let's say it was $12,000 total for your home, but then 20% of that, which is the size of your office, they will allow you 20% of that 12,000 to be written off as a business expense, home office deduction to your income. So let's go back to, let's say it's 10,000. So that's $10,000 for those items. So that's $2,000 now that you can write off, that reduces your taxable liability. As opposed to using a simplified option would be $100.
Wow, the
So
big
that
difference.
goes, so that goes to, if you have a very good record system, you set up a record system to where you track those things and you have that information, you give it to your tax accountant, they have that information that they can say, okay, $2,000 could be written off. But if you don't have that information, they'll say, okay, we'll use the simplified option. I'm gonna write off $100 for you. Now, if you didn't know, you say, okay, fine, that's something.
Mhm.
But when you know, because you've done something about it, then it benefits you greater.
Mhm.
And I put this note down here, when filing taxes, whether you're giving it to a tax preparer or you use tax software, tax software is very user-friendly nowadays. So I really would say somebody should try that. But if you still want to pay somebody, tax preparers are using software too. So they can identify those expenses, but sometimes we have to tell them. When we leave it up to somebody, say, this is how it is. And I do have friends that they give their stuff to, and they have businesses. And my friend told me, well, he told me he's just going to use a simplified option. I was like, okay, do you know you can probably write off more if you've been tracking your stuff? And told him, this is my expenses, take 20% of that. So,
Mhm.
again, it goes with what if you don't know, you can't grow and know better.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then last, I think this is about my last slide, but this is showing that if you work and you make $80,000 in income with no home business, you take a standard deduction, there's no business deductions. This is how much the income will be taxed. This is the tax that you will owe, and you have no savings on that. Right now, this doesn't say whether or not you receive money back or you pay, but this is the tax liability that they claim. However, this shows that if you have a business, a home business with that income, you still get the standard deduction. You made 80,000, you get the standard deduction, but now you have $10,000 in business deductions. So that reduces your taxable liability to 45,000, which reduce your tax that you owed, and then your tax saving was $2,200. And this is why, for me, I encourage people to have a home business. If they're working full-time, do something. Don't do anything that's going to stress you out, but just something fun, have fun with it. I like this. This is what I'm sharing with you all. This is my business, and I enjoy it because I'm informing people. I feel like I'm helping to lift people up, to encourage them to do better for themselves financially. And I enjoy this. If I didn't enjoy this, I would not be sitting here with you all for laughing.
I heard that.
Unless you was getting paid.
No,
We're gonna pay you
but
$1,000 to come and tell us this. Yeah, you
you
would.
know what? If somebody wants to pay me for this right now, this is my heart in sharing with you,
Yeah,
because
right.
giving
Thank you,
information.
Lord.
Ultimately, yes, I do hope that somebody would benefit using the system. But for me, first line is use the system for yourself, to improve your life. Whatever system you use it for yourself to improve your circumstance and your situation. If you think using my system will help you, hey, yeah, come on, use my system. Because that does, I do get paid. However, for me, this system that I'm sharing with you, I use this system for myself, and it helped me.
Mhm.
It helped me.
Mama Evelyn has a question or comment.
Yes.
Well, I had a question. When we go back to the home office, and my daughter has a home office, but she doesn't have another business. But
What do you mean?
can that
What do you mean she has a home office, but she doesn't have a business?
Well, no, she works from home. Her job, she works from home. So,
Okay,
but
no,
that can be used as, because that's her office that she does her. I mean, can that be used as you know, can she have deductions from using that square footage as her workspace from home? I just wanted to know, is that
Oh,
something?
shoot, ma'am, you know what? I would honestly, I would have to look in, I would have to do more research on that because since COVID and so many more people are working from home,
Mm-hmm.
I believe right now I'm talking off the cuff and I'll address this next week. I'll bring it back up from researching it. But if her employer is like subsidizing her relative to that office, then I don't believe so. However, somebody can still, like, she can still have a business. If she has a business and she's using that space outside of her work hours for that business,
Mm-hmm.
off the top of my head, I think she could still use that same square footage.
Oh, okay.
The difference would be like, when I worked from home, when I worked full time and I work from home, my employer gave me my computer, all that stuff. I couldn't claim any of that on the business. And I didn't use any of that stuff for my personal business.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah.
I had my laptop that I use for my personal business, so I can claim that. I had my own printer, stuff like that.
Mhm.
Those were
Mhm.
mine. And
Okay.
I'll admit, I still use, that was my, before I started working from home for my business, that was my business office for my business.
Mm-hmm.
So when I started working from home and they provided me my work computer and stuff, yeah, it was set up in there, but outside of my work hours, I still use that for my business. So I claimed that space. That was my business space. That was my office.
Okay. Okay.
You
I see
know?
the difference. Okay.
So if she starts her own business, yeah, I'm off the top. But like I said, I'll research it more and address it next week. But
Okay.
yeah, people need to take advantage because you see the big difference, because and then to track that, they need to have a good record keeping system that'll track
Yeah.
that for them
Yeah.
when they're doing their personal. But it allows you, like you saw, utilities, my mortgage interest, all that stuff. My car, when I drive it, even though it's my personal car, when I do business thing, I track that mileage. That's just business.
Mm-hmm.
All those things ultimately could be written off for business related reasons, and it lowers your taxable liability.
Okay.
Okay, Sister Juanita,
Thank you.
Yeah.
your hand is up.
Juanita.
Minute to get this to respond to my so in regard to our office space in our homes, did you mention that we have to have a dedicated space? We do have to have a dedicated space.
Yes.
You
Yes.
did you mention that?
Yes, it has to be dedicated. They can't, like, like if you set up something in your family room, and they use that for other things, the rules are you can't use it. However, if in that family room, in that corner, you got a desk and what have you set up in that corner, then what's the square footage of that area? But to me, it's easier if you have a room, like I have a 3-bedroom house. I had one room and that room was my office. So I just use that. But if you have a smaller area, then just account for that area. But it does have to be dedicated to your business. Yeah.
Nothing else goes on in that space.
Supposed to not. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
See, and this is one thing I know, cosmetologists, like a lot of them tend to work in shops, right? However, for a cosmetologist, if they dedicated a space at their house, that this is where I set my appointments and I schedule and I order my supplies and all of that from my home, they can even use that as, as part, but that's a little bit more touchy because especially if they have a space that they rent at somebody's, off shop. But to identify that, I do all my scheduling at home. I don't do any of that when I'm in the office, type thing, to have that base documented, things like that can be managed too.
Tricky. Thank you for all that you shared. I gotta check out you guys. I'm in Georgia to help my mom get moved into assisted living. So I hear that the family is up. So I need to get to my duties.
Okay.
Love y'all. Peace and blessings to
Good
you.
seeing you.
Love
So
you.
to
Good to see
remind you all,
Thank
too.
you.
peace, to try to
Thank
finish,
you.
got a few more minutes left. This is a system that I use, and I use as a baseline for my business, for my personal business, and as a business to share with others. My Raziya uses this system, and this is her information if anybody's interested in looking into what we use. But as I shared, whether you use this system or not, use something computer-based, because it'll just make everything so much simpler for your personal and business tracking. My points to take away is, for the information I shared today, to commit to know and to understand where you are for your personal finances and your business finances. To gain that understanding that you need to learn for both, to grow that knowledge. Keep it simple still. Learn the process to know the information that you need to make wise decisions about your personal finances was info 2. The info 3 was the same, to find a system to learn to make your business decision about your finances better. And then finally, the info 4 is to understand that if you don't have a business, I support creating one, something simple that can help you ultimately bring in more income into your household, but also to decrease the taxes that you pay.
Okay.
And then I have any questions, but I just wanted to bring up that next week, we're going to talk about and share again on the information-based eliminating debt. But that goes with knowing where your financial state is, so you can directly and consciously know what you need to do to eliminate debt. So any questions?
Oh, I just would like to share this. When I saw the caption, eliminate debt, I saw eliminate debt diet. And I had to look at it and say, did she say that? And then I didn't, so I had added the diet part in my mind. And what it means is that I came to realize, in looking at my own patterns and so forth, that I was on a track. I was doing some things which created extra debt just naturally. I mean, the way I was looking at my expenses, the way I was refusing to be disciplined in certain areas of spending. It was kind of like a diet, because I was on this behavioral track, of just, well, this is what I do. Even if a friend came along, well, we should go that. Oh no, this is what I like. So it was interesting that my eyes tricked me into seeing diet on the other end of your line.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. And one, because I'm going in when you said diet, I can see how, especially you, because of the whole thing about taking care of your body, what you put in it and all that stuff, and keeping a track of that. And especially if you're having a challenging time around about your health, that you can write things down and keep an account of, and then see the blessing or or the curse of what you've been putting in your body and stuff. The same with the finances. What I want to say is that the thing about the IRS, don't get caught up in that. That won't happen. That's just a piece of information that is true. And you will, unless you know where to go to get that information, it is not just privy to the world.
Okay.
Because what is happening with the world, it's a process, because you can't just tell everybody all of a sudden. And people will be pissed off, people who are paying a lot. I know a sister that is paying like thousands of dollars, and they will be working until they're 100 and something years old around something that happened years ago. And their families they just call it. Thank God both of them have a good job, but and good is, I mean, they have a job. And it's not like a 6-figure job or anything like that. They are just barely, they're making it work, and they're making the payments and stuff. And every time when I heard about that, and then knowing what I know, it just pisses me off that and based on usually on one person. Because I remember I was what's that thing where they come in and check
Audited.
I was audited. And I tell you, I still have some things I need to be delivered from that audit. But it was based on that person sitting there. That one person made the decision about what I could write off or not write off, And for me doing hair and stuff, it was around, I had on there about, because I write off videos. I would write off, stuff for the TV, all that kind of stuff. And she said, videos. And so that was before the internet, where we had YouTube and all that. And so, and thank God it was a sister, because she understood. I said, no, yeah, I'm writing that off, because my clients sit for 3, 4, 5 hours, sometimes 10 hours. I must have entertainment for them. And so she agreed, because she understood. But if it was a white person, they wouldn't have understood that. No, we can't write that off. So what I don't like is that it's based on that person that can make a decision one way or another. And then once in the case of that family, in the case that person made that decision, then she's stuck there unless they go back and say, I want you to redo this and stuff like that and challenge it. They're just stuck with that for the rest of their life, and just, are sentenced to that, and no matter how things change in their life, like maybe one got sick and couldn't do that. They are still, that's what they have to pay, because that was in their past. So, but so when I'm talking about the IRS, that they are illegal, and a whole bunch of stuff about the world, and the United States and blah, 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 blah. But that's nothing that we can just stop paying taxes. We still go by what she's talking about, and make sure we get as much back as we can, and keep up and do all the things that we're talking about. And the other thing is that you can't fight your enemy, quote unquote, unless you have facts. Like she said, you ain't got nothing written down, so how are you going to come back and say, see, this, I should not have to be paying that, and why? So, yeah, we'll start that conversation on Friday, but I don't want you guys to think that that's something. IRS is very much alive right now, just like that uncle. Well, the uncles that used to do that, or whoever, the aunt or whatever, they're still there. And so you have to still go through that process to change. Well, my sister Sharita, when she deals with her daughter, back in the day, we're grown, everybody's grown now, she would not allow her to go into the refrigerator unless she told her, and she couldn't just go in there and get something. She would always have to ask. Well, my son, Fame, could go in the refrigerator anytime he wanted to and grab something, you know, anytime he wanted to. But when Sharita lived with me and with her baby, then Fame, I had to restrict him because of the confusion that would be happening and the tendency for the younger one to want to do what he did, you see, and then she would get in trouble. So that's a whole world. The IRS is connected to a lot of this other stuff. And so people who are in the sovereign world don't deal with that. It's a whole nother world, and we don't know about. And what we don't know, we don't know. We don't know what to ask about. We don't even know what to research about, unless, well, you can do your research and stuff. But I'm saying, if you don't know where, some things are hidden from us. Like we, you know, stuff in another country, we don't know what's happening there unless we go to a channel that has world information and honest world information. So we just go to NBC, CBS and all that stuff and get our information. And some things I didn't know that they can tell you. Sometimes in movies you might see where they say don't publish this. And if you publish this, and then the writer wants to put this is information that the people need to know. And then the head, the president says, do not publish this. I got it from up high that it is not time to tell the world this. So you get it in little bits and pieces. But yes, everything that she's saying, that's what we need to do right now until this, and it's not going to be all, like I said, it can't just all of a sudden tell everybody, but some people do know, and they know how to deal with that, but they have to position themselves for that. I'm glad to know. I'm not positioned to, I mean, I know the IRS could come in and they still do what they do, but just know that in the future, there's hope. But know also that when that happens, and we still will be paying taxes, but it'll be on not the way it is right now, because we do have to take care of the streets. We do have to take care of certain things, but we are being ripped off, you know, and it works, and it's, I'm just saying, but I'm also just saying, don't get caught up in that. This is information for you to have, and knowing where the world, if you can't feel the world changing, if you can't feel that we're going from three, what is that called? 3 dimension to the 5th dimension of the energy of the world and stuff, things are changing. Things are changing. And just to know that when you learn about how the IRS even came about, then you're like, whoa, we have been bamboozled. And we really, those who are in the middle to low income are really being bamboozled. In my world, I mean, in my understanding, I understand why, you know, big business gets all of these benefits, because they are providing jobs and stuff for people. They're doing these things. And so, yeah, they get these write-offs because they are helping the country run. But we are paying the bill because they put it where we have to, and because some knowledge we don't know about, because we're not on that level to even for it to even be a concern. So if you're not one that just do research, you love to research and stuff, you know, and you love to know what's going on, good, bad, and indifferent, then you are where you are wherever your knowledge is, you know. So I really appreciate Jacqueline, what you're sharing with us, because this is where we are right now. This is where the world is right now. And we want to do it as good as we can to our benefit, right?
Right, right.
I
Wow.
went to cosmetology school because I knew I did not agree with them making us as braiders have to take their course. But I had to take their course so that I could talk their language when I went, you know. So,
Mhm.
Deitra?
Yes, I want to first say thank you, Jacqueline. It was a wonderful discussion. Thank you for sharing the information. And I wanted to know about Friday, Queen. Is there going to be someone talking specifically about this IRS situation?
I don't know if it'll be specifically about that, but we're gonna just talk about the whole thing in general, and then we'll start breaking it down.
Okay, well, is it somewhere we can start looking at researching it on our own right now, or do you know?
Yeah, I guess you could. You'd have to know where to go.
Oh, that's why I was
No, you
asking.
know what? I'm not gonna say that you'd have to know where to go. You start in there, and then everything will pop up because some of that is on the internet. And some is written, and some things are from podcasts of people who have studied, studied all of that.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
You're
Okay.
welcome,
And
honey.
I think Mama Raziya had her hand up.
Well, Pam has
Yeah.
hers up right here,
Oh, okay,
and
Pam.
then
Oh,
Mama Raziya. Mhm.
I just want to say in reference to what Queen Adunia is saying is that there is a whole system change that is happening. And it is not just the IRS. It's
Right.
not that the IRS is wrong. The system is not right.
Mhm.
That is what is going to change. And taxes aren't going anywhere. However, the system is going to change. That's what I wanted to say.
Okay.
thank you. Okay.
Mhm. Okay, Mama Razia.
Well, I wanted to say to Jacqueline that I really appreciate all that we're being exposed to and all of the information. And I'm guilty of not really having digested the schedule, how she's shared with us what we'll do week 1, week 2, week 3. I am concerned about those of us who are married and sharing a household, sharing um, how to manage yourself as an individual and also as a partner in a marriage. I remembered how confusing it was for me. Um, some of the things in my first marriage, then I had this nice space between marriages. And now, 7 years ago, I got back into marriage and I realized that I didn't know enough about how to maintain myself as a individual, whether it's an individual taxpayer or individual person managing my own financial affairs, banking, all kinds of things. So I don't know which one of these sessions that we might deal with partnerships and sharing and being financially healthy and being in the right
Okay,
place.
okay, Marazia.
I think you just gave her some
You know
homework.
what? That's a whole nother. When I get my undergrad was in counseling. I was a psychology major, right? I
Okay.
came out of, as I was going through that and found out that I remember one time they gave us this list. There must have been 35 different areas we can take our learning into, right? I realized at that point, I don't want to be a counselor. No, relative to what you're asking, because I care about people, I've learned your relationship is your relationship. You know, when I've been married twice, and first marriage, we went through probably 5 different iterations of how to manage money.
Mhm.
And ultimately we divorced. It wasn't because of money, but I mean, so, and then I've talked to people that said, he has his, I have mine. He pays the utilities, I pay the whatever, the food. I've heard, yes, we both work, but he pays for everything and I use my money for what I use my money for.
Yeah, I like that one.
I like that one too. It's like, send me one. So relative to the desire, I mean, with you and your partner, you just got to get to the point of what works for you. You know, what makes sense for you too, however that is. I desired, you know, I'm divorced now, I'm single. I wouldn't mind meeting someone and getting married again, but you know, relative to that conversation going forward is going to be what he and I, what works out for us. You know, and this information I'm sharing with you is important to me because I live it.
Mhm.
You know, I have a budget. I know where my, you know, I use a computerized system. You know, and that's important to me. So you have to find what's important for you. And if the information I'm sharing resonates, because these are recorded, share it with your mate. You know, to have a discussion, because everything has to start with communication.
Mhm.
And being truthful to where you are, to what your desire is, and just go from there.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
There you go. That's my counseling.
Short and sweet.
Yes.
As long as you both, you remember from last time, truth, live your truth, be,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
live your truth.
And I
And
think it would help, you end up helping each other, because when I think, my husband is a musician, and you know, he doesn't track his mileage. He, you know, all of that, and of course, that person, I mean, because you know, never know who's going to what, but some people, because it's cash, and in being little, you know, some things that are cash and stuff, many people don't even record that, and don't, you know, and stuff. But when there's checks involved, and then they're going, well, anyway, it makes a difference. But there's so much that I know could be written off if it was just kept. You know, even things when if I'm going to the store, if I'm gonna have an event, which I had Sunday, I had people over here around the entertainment and stuff, that so buying the food to cook and all of that. If I had to pay somebody to cook it, that's a write-off, because that was a business expense in my entertainment world.
right.
Yeah, but you know, I don't think about it. You just, you know.
See, and that's where I would say to have a computerized system, having something that has an app on your phone,
Mhm.
because you got your phone with you, and you start making a point, whenever I spend money, I don't care if it's 10 cents, I'm logging it in this system.
Yeah.
And it's for you. It's not, you know, and honestly, people, even they did it, they're tracking that for them. When it comes down to paying, you know, the tax part of it, or the business part of it, do I want to tell them I made, oh man, I made $20,000? Do I want to tell them? Now, this is going on the air, right? But I mean, if you
No,
make
it's
that
not on the
decision,
air.
if you want to make that decision that you don't want to identify that you actually brought in 20,000, you brought in 15,000, that's on you.
Mhm.
Because cash, the only tracking is in this, in whatever you're using to track for your knowledge.
Mhm.
Do you have to give that over as your baseline for this is what I actually brought in? No. You know, the same with, I know barbers, when they work on cash, you know, they might say, yeah, today I made $300, but I'm gonna tell them I made 100. I mean,
Yeah.
that's for them.
Now, it does affect when it's time to buy houses and cars.
Yep.
And stuff like that, because unless you have a different system where you pay yourself by check every month or something like that, the other thing that you have is your reporting your taxes at the end, you know, where you show your W-2, whatever that thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's if you are an employer, if you work an employer, W-4 is what you get at the, no, W-2 is what you get at the end of the year. But if, no, the W-9 is when somebody, they're independent contractor.
Yeah.
They're not an employee.
Mhm.
But even with that person who's giving you a W-9, they're tracking what they're giving you, because guess what? It's a tax write-off for them.
Yeah.
You know, so they're giving you a W-9 to let the government know, hey, I paid this person, it has to be over $600, but I paid this person $2,000. So that's $2,000 they get to write off their tax liability,
Mhm.
you know, so,
Yeah.
you know, but when you have a computer-based system that allows you to track your information, your spending and everything, to have a system that can give you a end of year report, an annual report, an income expense report, help you track your budgeting. You need something that's going to be simple and easy to use.
Mhm. Now, did you tell us what the cost of your program, the program that you and
There's two levels. The baseline, just the basic system is $11, $10.95 a month.
Oh, wow, that's good. Mhm.
But there's a level that's $39.95 a month, which can be a business for you. You know, the $10.95 is if you have a business and you just want to write it off, okay, that's $10.95. But if you get the $39.95, it gives you more features, but it can also be a business for you to the degree that while you use it for yourself, as you meet people that you think can benefit from them using the system to improve their financial state,
Yeah.
then you can share it with them, and that becomes your business. That'll be another source of income for you.
Okay.
You
Great.
know, and even the $39.95 is a tax write-off because that's your business.
Mhm. Mhm. So we gotta work smart.
Works, KISS.
Yeah.
Keep it simple.
Keep it
Yeah.
simple.
I call KISS, keep it simple, sister.
When I learned it was keep it simple, stupid.
I know, right? I said, I'm not calling myself stupid. Keep it simple, sister, you know.
Keep it simple. So I'm using it, keep it simple system.
System, yes.
Keep whatever you do, because you don't want to add any other stress to your life. But you know, sometimes learning new processes is a little stressful, especially if you feel you're not meeting something, then you feel bad. Don't do that. It's like something I wanted to share is I don't know if you can see, I use a weekly planner, and every Saturday I'll sit and here are my entries and I'll go through planning. So that was something, and I've been doing this for years, but then the same with using a system. You know, like I was saying, when you're in the store, if you have a computer system app on your phone, go on that phone, plug it in, you finish with it.
Mhm.
Throw the receipt away.
Mhm.
When I was a bookkeeper, I used to have people, like we had talked about, bringing me all these receipts that they've been holding on for 3 months. And probably 20% of those receipts are faded, can't even read it. So who did that benefit? So,
Mhm.
you know, but to do, and I think you saw through my presentation, I had start somewhere.
Mhm. Mhm.
Even if it's writing stuff down, start somewhere to start making that change for yourself and in your life.
Wonderful.
So
Okay, Deitra or Mama Raziya, y'all want to close us out?
Well, I
Is
would
Dee-
like to start. I am so inspired by what Jacqueline shared, even in the last 5 minutes. I thought about, I work with the diaper bank, and I would love to share this information with the director over that nonprofit. Because I think we can really, I work with her, but I believe she could really find use in what you share. So yeah. But thank you so much. I enjoy you so.
I'm glad to be here.
Oh, good. Mama Raziya, you want to share anything?
Well, I'm just saying ditto.
Yes.
Grand Rising Lolly, you slid in. We about to slide out.
Yes.
That's great to hear you. And I played your song this morning, and some recognized you and had great comments about your.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Me?
You, girl, you, boo.
Wow, thank you.
With
All
the
right, give yourself
purple
a
on.
hug. And give the world a
World
Yes,
a
thank you
hug,
for that
so
information.
needed
People.
and
Yes,
sprinkle it all over the place.
yes, it's a beautiful day to have a beautiful day. Let's do it, ladies.
Let's do
Yes,
it.
yes, boo. All right, peace out.
Peace.
Take care. Bye, Yana.